I think is important because the more you travel and the more you immigrate and emigrate, which you guys know I don't shut up about because I think it's one of the best experiences for any human being. The more connections and the more love of your lives you need to learn to detach from. It comes with that.
It's hard, and I think you and I had it similarly in that we both have very close relationships to our mums, and so I think we'd speak every day. So coming out here was really interesting. I think we didn't even say goodbye. So this was a big thing. I was meant to come, really it was only meant to be a few weeks. And so I remember leaving home and I was going straight to Istanbul and then out here. So I think my mum just thought I was going to come back and pick up a bag in between.
Yeah.
She was doing folding. I remember it so clearly. She was upstairs doing the folding.
Yeah.
And I just shouted bye up the stairs. That was it.
Oh my god.
Because I was going to be back in a few weeks. Fuck. So that then turned into... So for context, my visas, I had a lot of problems with my visas due to timing and sponsorship. And it meant that it would get rejected. And once it got rejected or challenged and you had to justify it, you then had to appeal it. And during appealing, basically, it can then take another 5 years. And you have to go to court, and then you stand up in court. And it would have been okay, it was just the time frame of it. So it meant that really what was meant to be 2 weeks away from home was turning into 9 years of not seeing my parents, because the visa I was on, the other part that made my visa difficult and made immigrating more difficult was I couldn't leave the country.
You were in a very specific position.
It was a really specific thing that happened, which meant...
and it happens to a lot of people when you're doing
the bureaucracy of immigration is so... you learn a lot about a culture.
Through their bureaucracy.
Through their bureaucracy.
Wow.
I think I ended up in a position where I couldn't leave the country. And my parents couldn't come out to see me because my mother cared for her mother.
Yeah.
So she was a permanent carer at that time and couldn't come out. So at the start it felt okay because it was COVID and everybody was in the same boat. Yeah. So it didn't feel as hard. Yes, I was homesick, but I was like, well, everybody else is in the same position. And to be honest, everybody else has had to actually move in with their parents.
Isn't it so crazy that I'm extrapolating this, but I do think is an interesting thing within what we do. That when we feel like an experience is shared, it's easier.
Completely.
Which I think is why we need art and because we feel shared experiences. But I'm relating to that in the sense of like the first wave of COVID, what the whole world was living at, was a different movie than the way we lived it in 2021 in Australia. Very, very different to watch on Instagram the rest of the world free while we weren't. It's super interesting because at the end of the day we're pretty much in similar positions, and we were also getting the government was better organized to help on the second one, which would have made it easier because we weren't getting government help at the beginning.
Well, also I had a flat in London and here, so I was paying double rent.
And no work.
And couldn't get any government funding because of the visa situation I was in. However, I was very lucky in that my partner was a photographer. And I could model.
And you were able to do that. And you guys killed it.
You guys killed it. I was looking back on it. I reckon we actually made more during COVID in our first year than that second year. Because brands couldn't shoot, so they would just send us stuff.
Yeah.
But my God, was that the biggest lesson in why you need a full team. Completely. Brands, this is why we need gaffers and makeup artists.
That's why you don't get cheap on makeup artists and light. Yeah.
Because it's an art. Makeup artist. I am not that. So different. You can do your makeup every day. You do makeup for a shoot.
It's full. No, it's not this. It's not the
different.
same universe when it gets shot.
No.
It's not the same products.
No. But we
It's
were
not the same
lucky.
way that light gets reflected on day-to-day
Oh,
makeup.
completely. I remember eventually sometimes I'd just wash it off and I'd be like, we're safer naked. On the face. Sorry.
So we were doing other type of films. We needed someone. You know what I mean? Like we needed to pay double rent at the time. Like right, London.
Double rent, a lot of things. Well, I was also shooting fine art with him at that point. That's when there was that empty street and we got that shot on the bike because it was COVID.
Yeah.
and
Did
no
we
one was
sell
there.
this?
There's an
Was there a
exhibition
membership?
coming up,
Okay.
but my face is in it.
There's a
so
paying wall.
that you can't tell it's me, but now you
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, my poor mother. She's like, is this how you're paying?
She's like, this is what
is this how you're paying rent?
Just going to your dad, like,
She's
is
so
this why we
confused.
got? Is it this happens because you put a camera to her?
This is because you got the camcorder out. Well, my granddad was also like, you called her Samantha? Because at the time, I think, was it Samantha Fox who was on page 3 in like the UK?
What's page 3?
Oh, page 3
That's
is
so
where you get,
niche,
like, the
page 3.
Sexy lady. But yeah, if you see all men would
Was that
open a
news in the
newspaper.
day?
Yeah, they would go
Yeah.
page. You'd see all men would pick up the first 2 pages and it'd be like, page 3.
How did they name you?
Samantha Fox. No.
I do have a story like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I
actually,
do.
I do wonder.
And this is the first time I say it.
Oh wait, you go. Mine's actually is yours positive because I think mine might be negative. So maybe
I absolutely adore my name, but the coming of it, it's pastry.
Oh, because I think mine could potentially be racist. So you go first.
Okay, I love us. So my mom had decided on a name, on Maria Paula.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh wow.
yeah, I don't look like a Maria Paula. My mom had decided on Maria Paula. My very stubborn mom had already. Everything was gonna go, which you abbreviate as MAPIs in Latin America.
I'm gonna call you that from now on.
Never in your whole life. So Maria Paula was decided. There is a model, DJ, pastry girl
Yeah.
called Natalia Paris.
Oh, this explains so much.
Natalia Paris.
What a legend.
As well. How insane is this? I like her. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's a very pastry thing in Colombia. She was that icon. My dad was obsessed with her. My dad's like, we're naming her Natalia. My mom was like, because
Yeah.
of your pay. No way. He goes on the day of the baby shower in the
Yeah.
morning. He calls my mom. He's like, I'm not gonna show up to the baby shower if she does not call Natalia.
Wow.
And she was like, so then he goes, the only thing I'll accept is Natalia or the 3 of them. Maria Paula, Natalia. The 3 names. Liza, my mom's like, I don't hate my daughter. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this is a crazy story if you know my mom.
Yeah.
Because my mom is the most stubborn person
I'm surprised
in the
that
whole
she
world.
did. I mean, from
She would
what
have been
I-
like, I don't need you.
From what I know, I thought she would have been like, "Don't come to the baby
Yeah, why
shower."
would I need you in the baby shower?
Yeah.
She was like, it's not gonna be the 3 of them, so it's Natalia. I adore my name.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, that story, she was never someone that I was especially like, about. But I'm not religious and I definitely wouldn't want the name Maria in my name. That's something that I have a lot of weight with names.
Do you? So you would have attached like the historical way of religion to Maria. Okay. Interesting.
So I'm
Yeah,
up.
that's funny because the moment you said Maria Paula, I was like imagining a nun.
Yeah. A hot
And
nun.
imagine me.
Yeah, as a nun.
You'd be
as
a
a
hot
nun.
nun.
I'll get the priests out of their faith, I feel.
I actually watched. I was watching.
I'm sorry, I really like Fleabag.
I was watching.
Right, great.
I was watching Conclave last
If
night.
Andrew Scott is watching this.
Yeah, I was watching Conclave last night, which was great. It's probably first time I could actually use my Latin.
Of course you speak Latin, of course she speaks Latin. Of course she knows Latin. We said that, yeah. The rest of the podcast will be done in Latin.
That and Harry Potter is great for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samantha,
Sorry. Yeah.
I want your name. Why is your name racist?
So I really, really don't think my parents had an attachment to this. I think genuinely they thought it could be boy or girl because they didn't know gender. So it was just going to be Sam or
Until
Samantha.
you were born?
Yeah.
Why?
Although apparently my dad said, Labour, I hope it's a girl. And my mum was like, it's a bit late now. So yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Although that's the story they told me. He could have said, it better be a boy.
Yeah.
And I would never have known. I don't think he would have.
Yeah.
But, okay, Samantha. So, my granddad was in the Navy.
Yeah.
And from the stories I've heard from sort of older generations of the family, it's pretty bad. He was often called Sambo, which is a racist slur.
Sambo?
For a person of colour.
Okay.
Because he would turn so dark on top of the ship. He would go so dark.
Yeah.
And
Do you tan well?
From photos I've seen, he's like really, really dark. Yeah, someone somewhere is lying in the family. It's not all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
A couple of grandmas lived on a port.
So from Samo, yeah.
Yeah, so from Samos, he was then called, because his name was Cyril. His real name was Cyril.
Yeah.
But he was called Sam. And everybody knows him as Sam. And Sam has passed down the family.
Okay.
But my mum didn't ever, it was never that reason. She just really liked the name Samantha. But to me, I'm like, there feels like a historical line of Sam, and it's actually come
from your mother's side?
From a racist slur from mum's side, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which is especially interesting being white and having...
That's why it's okay. No, but imagine.
Yeah.
No, that's why it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're actually reframing it.
Yes.
To the poshest, whitest, most beautiful version of it. So you're taking it off the...
We're taking it away, yeah. But I think I kind of like knowing that. Because I think it's important.
I love your name so much. Do you have any second names?
I have no middle name. You don't either, do you?
I don't either.
Shut up!
Yeah. Wesley?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So we're all only children. So basically, we weren't loved enough to get a sibling, and we weren't loved enough to get a middle name.
I would reframe it as we were loved so much that we were enough.
Okay, hold on. Everybody say the reason why they didn't want a middle name.
Because I already have 2 last names, so I already get all my paperwork with Natalia Loaiza Pineda is an issue, and I really like my name.
I love that for you. What's your reason?
I
love that one.
They never gave me a white people one.
Ah. Yeah, I think mine was all of my grandparents called themselves by their middle name, not their first name, because they didn't like their first name.
Right.
So it was so confusing because everybody was like my gran, for example, was Violet Jean King, but everybody knew her as Jean.
But Violet is such a beautiful name too.
So cool, I know.
Yeah.
Good old Jean. So yeah, they were like, we're not going to let that happen to you, so you just get one name. We're just giving you one option.
I think it was similar because both. I'm gonna disclose a lot of secrets, but the 3. So my mom, my aunt, and my uncle, they both have 2 names. One name they hated, each one of them. My aunt hated both enough to change her name legally.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but my mom, I think that might have had an impact. And then one of my moms was decided because her dad was apparently flirting with a lady in the office of the register. And she suggested, and he added her. So she was going to be Patricia. My grandma was still in the hospital, and then he came back with a birth certificate that had an extra name.
God, you're dishing it to me tonight.
The name of the clerk at the registration.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now she loves it because it's her favorite color, so it's Blanca.
Why?
Yeah.
And that was your answer is white.
Yeah.
Her favorite color is white.
My favorite color is white. Okay.
Is that true for men as well?
Wow.
I'll have you know
Not
that
currently.
I've dated tanned men.
Tanned. You cannot have that in this.
We all know I'm expanding my horizons
Is
at
it
the
a fake
moment.
tan?
So no.
You sure?
Who? You know too much.
I think it might have been
I think
fake.
whoever you think about was definitely fake tan.
Fake tan.
But I've also gone in a route that is a more natural tan.
I'm not sure we can class your diversification based on the tan.
It's been very different cultures, guys, very different countries.
Dating
I've
you
dated the
need to date.
colonizers, and I think that's...
Reverse colonization. Yeah.
Actually, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I feel like you need to date different cultures in your life, and you need to date the colonizer and
and
the
then break
colonized.
the heart of the colonizers and then go back to the colonized. This is so bad. I'm gonna cut this off.
Tick and tick.
No, I have a colonizer in the podcast, so it's so good. I love you so much. I'm joking.
Because I think it'll be interesting to have this conversation in a year.
Might be interesting in a year. Might be interesting in a few months.
Few weeks, few hours.
Shut up. Okay. So no, I feel like I have. You know, when someone has, I have enough things in my roster to justify that I'm not that this is not an issue. But I do think. No, we've researched this with Jasmine. There is an issue. There is like a fetishization.
Fettuccines.
Fettuccine.
There's a fettuccine
Tell I'm hungry.
with a parmigiana.
Oh.
No, there is a research issue of colonized countries and people in colonized countries having a fetish for colonizers,
Oh, for sure.
and then the opposite, and then we were also raided with Pocahontas. So I've gone all full circle
Yeah.
at the moment. Anyways, back to characters.
Proud of you.
Thank you so much. This went so off script.
That's the tagline though, off script of this podcast. You know?
I love that. Going off script.
Going off
Off
script.
she goes.
Off she goes. That's our new phrase.
I'm really curious about something,
Yeah.
Samantha.
Uh-oh. No one media trains you for being interviewed by friends. It's really dangerous. It's
It is, it
very
is.
dangerous. I look at Wes as well.
The really little giggle.
Okay, bring it on.
You're one of the people around me that has, I feel like, the most amount of information about herself, which, yes, I would call self-awareness, but I also think it's an interesting, the way you're able to explain yourself to people and to kind of present yourself to people. I think what I'm trying to get to is the first time I saw you introducing yourself at Les, because we were in one of the breakout rooms,
Oh, this is interesting because I was just about to say I think that's only a recent thing that I've been able to do that, but carry on because I'm intrigued.
yes, I know, I feel like I know that you think that's a recent thing,
Yeah.
your self-awareness, but I
Yeah.
think there's a way that you had of observing yourself that made me go. I feel like I entered into a little bit of who you were without knowing, because we were not speaking directly in that class
No, we
yet.
weren't.
And I'm curious to know if that came, how much of that has come through information that you've gotten of art, in terms of how much of Samantha have you discovered through either characters or music, or what percentage, I'm not necessarily fishing for a number, but
Yeah,
how did that discovery come?
that's a really good question. I have always had a thing where I think my love of acting was the ability of stepping into other people's shoes. And I think in order to do that, or try to even do that, you're having to look at the differences and similarities to yourself. So It's the same with my process of characters now, which is I read a script start to finish first without interruption. I try and do it all the way through because you're never going to get that moment again. Like you can never read something for the first time again.
Yeah.
So your reactions to things are like golden nuggets. So I'll always I'll lock myself in somewhere, read it through once. Then I read it through straight away again, but I make lists. So I make a list of like everything that other people say about my character and then everything I say about me.
So on the first read, when you speak about reactions, do you record them? Or is it just what you're gonna remember out of that moment?
I prefer not to write anything and just have it as snapshots.
Okay.
Then the second time through is when I can write things, and I'll do a list. I'll do a list of everything that everyone says about my character.
Yeah.
And then everything I say about me.
Yeah.
And then or the character. Interesting, I said me. And then I will then end up with 2 lists by the end. And I think the truth lies in the middle of them.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I think by doing that, I'm automatically also asking myself, what's the similarities and differences from myself? And so to answer those questions and to step into someone else's shoes, I don't think you can do that fully without knowing yourself, which is why I say that I think the self-awareness has only fully come recently, because I think there's several times that I look back on scenes that I've done and I wonder if I fully understood why a character is doing that, because I didn't understand what I would have done in that scenario.
Okay.
So I think there's been a real curiosity for how I behave and react, because I want to know why they are.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I want to come back to the merge between what people say about someone and something in a bit, but I want to stay on that line. So within that shows, because I do feel like that is something that you have clear, and it doesn't mean you're blocked or solid or unmoldable.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can sense when people introduce themselves with an idea of who they are.
Aww.
Which it's such a thing that I've kind of identified. That is the thing that draws me to people I end up being friends with. I was the one who reached out to you after last.
You were.
I feel like when I've tried to understand the people in my life that I've like been like, I want to be around this energy, or like there's something. It's usually people that have some sort of understanding of themselves. So then it eases me a bit to go into that knowledge. It feels like a cleaner thing, even though it can be as messy as every human is.
That is such a huge compliment.
But it comes from, I mean it.
But we've had this discussion now, you have a very impressive skill of, even with, like you were saying with mentors, you are able, you're very good at understanding people very quickly and knowing who is an addition, an enhancement and mentor in your life.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think I have had to learn. I'm
With
not
time.
Naturally good at it.
I think that's something that it's one of the things that I'm the most grateful for in life, because I've also followed through with it, and I've had very, very, very little steps in that direction.
Yeah.
And I've also had a lot of great things coming from intensely forcing people who didn't see it at the beginning within friendships and stuff. And I'm like, no, but we will be friends. Like,
Yeah.
I can see.
Well, that's me in relationships.
So we do it in different ways. Like, no, but you don't get it. You don't get it.
No.
You think I'm annoying. You don't. We will be friends.
You will be fun.
I've told you I've picked
Yeah.
moments like that since I'm a child with people. But I think it's interesting. I don't know. I think part of that is, I think there's a lot of things that are natural within us when it comes to our empathy and like our, not empathy necessarily, but our ability to read people. But I think a lot of it comes from, ever since I was very, very young, my mom has been super intense on me trusting my instincts.
That's incredible.
Like, I think it was one of her priorities. And I think it came a little bit from fear, because there's this culture in Colombia, in Latin America and in some countries, of rules in society when it comes to family. So you need to hug people to say hi.
Yeah.
You need to behave a certain way towards your family. And it doesn't necessarily is respect always. It's also just, they take it as respect, but it's also how things are done. So you say hi by hugging, you do all these things. Within the scope of the reality in Latin America when it comes to sexual abuse within families and stuff, this is really detrimental because kids are not taught their boundaries really early on. And then when they get crossed, it's really hard to know,
So
and
your
it's
mom was
really
on it.
messy. And my mom was really conscious of this growing up.
Yeah.
And since I was the tiniest little kid, she was like, there's no one that you'll ever hug that you don't want to hug. There's no one that you have to interact with that you don't feel like interacting with, even if it's our close family. And she made that really clear for everyone.
That's
And
amazing.
it caused a lot of fights, and it caused a lot of friction in the family. But I think it translated to other ways, because
Yeah.
then, yes, I was very real to those feelings. She was just like, what do you feel? Because she always felt that I could feel things that she wouldn't be able to necessarily read about how people would behave towards me. So she would ask me how people would behave with me rather than her doing their judgment.
Oh,
She was like, how does
wow.
this person make you feel? How does this teacher make you feel? She would be really inquiring. So I
That's
had
incredible.
I had to inquire my body how I felt about people, and I had to explain her why I liked some people, why I didn't.
Okay.
And I think that woke up a thing where I'm like, this needs to be on for my safety too.
Yeah.
And then it translated into it being on for other things, because I just feel like I've had very strong pulls towards people. Like, I've had this, and it's not just, I've also had it in the opposite way. And I've detected people in my school that then had issues with other, like, people working in school and be people that ended up having really inappropriate behaviors towards other. And I felt this energy years before they ever did anything. And I think in both ways, sometimes you can kind of have to train out of it, like, I hope I'm not being paranoid. But then in the other way, I do feel like that trained
But
the
it's such
thing
a
of,
strong skill that, to be honest, I think
it is, and it's a thing about always the question of, how does this person make me feel? Always, always, how do I feel within my body? Because my body has so much more information than my intellect. Sometimes when you're telling me,
So your self-awareness must have been from a pretty young age.
within body-wise and everything,
Yeah.
so I think that then
It's just a case of verbalizing.
and having to explain it to someone. When it comes to my friends that I now feel like have gotten into, like, backstabby situations with other friends, or all these dynamics that I've been fortunate enough in that area to never have experienced. I've never had experienced a situation where I feel backstabbed by a friend or something like that.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, so but there's also, it's interesting because it sometimes becomes a circle, because there also is zero paranoia in that area, which I'm trying to copy into other areas where I'm a bit more fearful. In that area, things have faded out, and I've made decisions to, like, stop certain relationships because they're not serving us anymore in that way, or they're not stimulating enough, or I don't feel like I'm growing in the
But
way
that's
that
why we were talking about open door friends.
Yeah.
We were using an example of, basically, we were saying, do you need friends friends that had to stay with you out of choice? You know, like friends from school that you're in
Then
an
you grew up
environment
family
that is forced,
friends.
family friends. And then you have the friends that we call open door friends, which are friends that they can leave at any point.
We were speaking, I think it's really cool that we speak about this in the podcast, because I haven't, and I think we're speaking about friendships and relationships, but there is an interesting weight, I believe, in the love you get. We were speaking about the example of a dog, of when you're in a safe environment, not if there's like cars and streets around the house, but when you're in a safe country house and you have your dog cuddling you and you have whatever animal that you live with next to you giving you love, I feel the love that you're receiving and the relationship you're sharing holds a different weight if the door is open or if the door is closed. Because having that sensation of being loved, knowing that the dog could be out exploring, doing something else, hits different. When I've been in the countryside with my animals and they come back, it's different than when I'm in my apartment with them. Because I'm like, oh, you're back. And out of all the adventures you could be having right now, you're like, oh, I want to be cuddling with her. And I think that's one of the reasons why having that approach with friendships.
I think
do.
You've always had open door friends, which I think is why you've never been backstabbed.
Yeah, and I've made it clear. Yeah, because I've made it clear that it goes both ways, and it also.
Whereas boarding school, the only thing about that is the doors are locked.
The doors.
The doors are locked and the gates are locked.
Not the whole thing. At 6 p.m. In winter, the whole building gets locked, and to stop the girls from like breaking out and trying to get into the boys' houses, it would set off alarms. We were alarmed.
That is crazy.
It's like jail.
Yeah. So
Which
you were
I loved,
not,
and I am very grateful for.
and you found your ways.
And we found ways, but that's what I mean. There's an element of there's not with everybody, obviously. You keep friends from that, but there is that element of I think people are always like, oh, I must have kept my friends from like I need a friend group from school, a friend group from uni, a friend group older, and I think the thing is that is fantastic if you have, but there's also, I mean, you and I have lived about 8 different lives in the space of our friendship.
8 different lives.
And you've got to keep, and you said it, you got to keep falling in love with that version.
With a new version.
Yeah.
And a really important question I think that we should all be asking ourselves within relationships, friendships, pretty much anything, is if I met this person,
yes,
would I? And a lot of the times it is the case, because sometimes when you find the right people, they will keep on evolving. And so it is possible to keep really long-term friends, but you owe no one any relationship. I think that's something that we forget because of societal rules and whatever. You don't owe anyone a friendship. You don't owe anyone a romantic relationship, a work relationship. And the fact that you don't, and that you make it clear with someone that don't ever call me or answer my messages out of obligation, it cleans some sort of energy. Because then I know that my best friend sometimes, like, she's not answering for 4 days. She's in Italy and she's busy. And it's never a thing about, I'm going to question her love, or I'm going to question how. And then if there's an emergency, I know she'll be there. But it's a different thing where you just feel like it's so I don't want to say unconditional, because conditions of values and respects will always be there, but it's so non-transactional. Is what I mean. I'm texting you and I'm calling you because I want to, not because like you did, and then it all becomes like this societal thing, and now I have to do this, and now I have, and then at some point in that we'll get lost, and we're friends with someone from high school that we're like, I don't feel inspired when I leave this conversation. I don't feel uplifted. I haven't grown. I haven't been challenged.
You know when you leave. You always know when
you know if you've been challenged. I do feel that. Within that, I wanted to ask you this because I feel like you're absolutely insane at it. And it's, how do you choose who you team up with for things? How do you choose your creative themes? How do you choose who you want to work with, collaborate with? Within that, and within team, I mean management as well.
I was about to say, do you mean agencies first up, like management?
Big time.
Okay.
Because in other ways, they're the ones choosing your teams often.
Yes. Yeah.
But you also get to choose sometimes. But I mean management, because your team right now is your management.
If you're with the right management, then you do also have a choice in who you can collaborate with. So they go hand in hand. If you're with a team where you don't have the choice of collaboration, and you're with the wrong team, because your team is an extension of your creative self. So the way
Yeah.
you've got, they're another hand coming out of you. They're going to other projects, directors, teams on your behalf. So the way that they speak and represent themselves, they're also representing you. So I think the biggest thing that I've always liked finding out is when I'm on a project, the way that they speak about how communications have been, I find really interesting. And
Do you inquire?
I don't inquire, but a lot of the
You
time,
just pay attention.
A lot of the time, I pay attention to if. I mean, sometimes obviously there are difficulties because if you're on certain projects where they're trying to navigate certain deals, then there can be difficulties. But usually, that doesn't ever equate to. God, like that was really, really tough, and I actually thought you were going to be like a huge pain, to be honest, because we've had to deal with like A, B, and C, which has happened in the past.
Yeah.
Which is why I've then decided from that point that I knew my team and management needed to be a representation of myself, and I needed to be happy with how things were spoken about and deals were dealt with. So the way that they collaborate and work with other people themselves is a huge thing. I think the other thing I would say is it's not always the big name. That's the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah,
it's not
didn't
always
we
the
say
big
that
name.
with
There's a lot of
Jasmine?
people who really want to like, you get signed by the big name and then it's like this fun thing of like, this ego thing of let me put it on my Instagram.
It is a badge.
Like the badge, you put it on it. I am represented by A, B, C, D, E, and there are these huge names, and you know, and that's great.
And it's a stage. I think it's a stage of discovery.
It is.
I think I need to go
Yeah,
through that.
it is great.
To be
And I
like, what
think-
does it actually mean to be inside it?
And I think that's great if you have a close relationship with the agent or your manager within that system.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've just joined this huge branch of something and you are one of like 90 and you don't have a close relationship with someone in there, it's not personable. So the biggest things I'd say are that you want them to collaborate in the way you would collaborate with other people. I think personability.
And you would know this by their communication style and by what you hear.
The way, and even the way when you first meet them and speak to them.
What are your questions and what do you want to be asked?
That's a really good question. I think there's a huge thing before even questions are asked where I feel like your gut knows. Your body knows before your mind, always. I think one of the key questions that I always ask is how do you communicate? How do you like to communicate, especially with tapes? How often do you like communication?
Yeah.
Like because I'm someone who obviously tends to push things and wants control. I would be chasing things up. I would want to know about things. Sometimes I always want to read any script that comes across the desk, regardless of if the team think it's silly or not. I want to personally read it.
Yeah.
So I would be in a lot of communication. So it's got to be someone who is able and willing to accept that. And I think some people could say that's too much or a lot, which are words that are often
I had that
too much, a lot too sensitive, like a lot of twos, which I think are weapons, not insults. So teams that I ask about their communication style, I like noting how personal they are. So for example, my current manager will always phone call.
Okay.
Always, which some people don't like. Some people really don't like that. If that's not your thing, then you know straight away that that's not going to be, because you're going to have to be able to talk to this person all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
You need to like this person. It's going to become one of the people you interact with the
Completely.
most. Yeah.
And the other thing I would say that I used to think when I was younger is I used to think that when this manager is an extension of me, they have to be like me. Like we have to have the same politics. We have to think the same. That's not true. I used to think that we needed to be the same person, and actually I think in the same way that often relationships or friendships, people who are very different from you actually complement you. Because my current team are very much more sort of, I was about to say laissez-faire.
Yeah.
They're more...
C'est un podcast français.
like laid, not laid back. They're you want a shark in business, but you want emotionally tranquil calm. So when I am coming at them with a lot of things, being like, this one was so emotional to me, and as this bit, I think this bit went wrong, and this bit was great, and they can just be like,
but
it out. The industry is the
you do
industry.
need that, especially if you're dealing with artists.
Yes.
That's a skill that I do feel like you need.
I've always found in my teams that I like the balance of shark-like business nature and want to push, balanced with an element of tranquility and ability to just stay calm about things, because this industry is so like this, and you yourself can get wrapped up in it if you don't have someone who's just able to level-headedly handle things. So level-headedness, personability.
It's not being proactive, it's just the energy in which you are.
Communication, proactivity, which you can tell a lot of the time by looking at other people on their books.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, people who have been with them the whole way through. There's a lot of people that you can look at and they've been with them since a really young age.
Yeah.
They're having full-fledged careers, but they haven't left them. That says a lot about not leaving a manager. And the way that they talk to you is going to be the way that they're going to be talking to people that you want to work with. So noting that and not going for the name, going for the person.
Thank you so much, because I think that's a really important information, and I think that's so true. I want to come back to what you said about the thinking they should be like you. My mom said this to me, where I was between two decisions. I think I told you, in the US, and the most, I had this moment of like, this person is like me. And it's so excited, and it's so uplifting, and it's gonna be all this wow. And also my ego likes that reassurance more of someone being so emotional and giving me this full blown, and I'm like, my ego will love that person. They were both great at what they did, but my ego was really excited by someone's way of being like me. The other person that my God was like was my manager now. It's New York, sharp, tranquil, not me. And my mom kind of gave me the thing you did, and she's not in the business, but she was like, you already have you. Do you want a team?
That's you want a
complementary,
like,
you're not.
It's the same with friends and relationships as well. You're never going to learn and be challenged if you're always going for what is.
That's the thing, because I was like, that's going to be more challenging for everything, for my ego, for the. But it is really interesting to think that, and it doesn't mean the values need to be the same. So that's what we need to be picking on for friendships as well. It's an interesting, and for dating, it's the same. You don't need to have the same person in front of you. So the values need to be that. But it is also good to know where you're lacking, because that's where you can be complementary with someone.
Completely.
I guess.
Well, it's like you're wanting, if you think of it as a project and you're adding minds to a project.
Yeah.
You want different minds to build it. Otherwise, you're all just going to be using the same tactic.
So that's how you approach a team. You think like, what are we necessarily lacking, but what part needs to be filled?
Yeah.
And let's get a personality in that area.
What am I not currently always bringing to the table that I think I need is an interesting one, which sometimes I think someone who is level-headed.
That I think I need.
Yeah.
Wow, what am I not bringing to this table that I think I need?
Yeah.
And then going in search for that. That's epic. And that makes me so excited about what we're about to do.
Well, I was about to say building teams. We're building globally.
Teams. We're co-directing a short.
Ta-da! Wes is like...
And Wes is like, yeah, on immigration. So we could speak a lot more on immigration. L'audition. I'm so grateful to get to dive in when they're here, and through our friendship and through our art. And thank you so freaking much for being here.
I'm so honored to have been here. I think I might be tearing up.
I know. And I just...
But we'll do the next one in Colombia.
We'll do the next one in Colombia. Holy fucking shit, we will do.
Shitballs.
I know. And is there anything that you'd like to say that I didn't ask you?
I feel like there is a lot more we could talk about. However, poor Wes here is about to pass out from lack of food.
Yes.
So I think we need to have dinner.
So we will have dinner and we will get back to you from Colombia.
Yes.
I love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you for
having
diving
me
in
on.
Wonder. Au revoir. À bientôt. Go with your French. You've practiced it.
Oh yeah. J'habite dans une chaumière.
Oh, I thought we were gonna say
I live in a
goodbye.
cottage. Wait. No, they need to know. They need to know.
Sorry.
J'habite dans une chaumière dans le centre de l'Angleterre. Avec ma mère.
That is so hot and so false. Everything she said is so false, but it sounds hot, and that's
Merci. Au revoir.
that's showbiz, baby.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Love
De
you.
doigts dans le nez.
I love you so much. Do you know what that means?
2 fingers up the nose.
Yeah.
Easy peasy, right?
How did you know that?
De doigts dans le nez. Well, my dad lives in France.
But why would he randomly teach you that?
He just said one day, do you know what easy peasy is? And I was like, what? This de doigts dans le nez? 2 fingers up the nose.